Hi guys, Bethany here. So today I'm going to be attempting paper quilling. In my May subscription box from Easywhim was this paper quilling. I have never done paper quilling before, so I really hope I can figure this out so I can make this video for you guys. I know there's a lot of people out there who were really wanting some instructions for this project, so I'm going to attempt it. In front of me is the tools. I have a little picture here of what the project's supposed to look like as my guide. Scissors, quilling pin, tweezers, this ruler, and floral wire. The quilling paper came in 3 sections. So this first section that is together is the thickest one, and it is yellow and green. In this medium one, we have blues, a light blue and a dark blue, and a light green and a dark green. In the small one has a dark blue, dark yellow, light blue, and a light yellow. There's a few different things that we're going to need to do on this project. We're going to need to make the pot, and we're going to need to make the flowers. We're going to have to find a way to stick the flowers in there. Got to do this nice little bow, get some leaves going on in there. The first part that we're going to work on is going to be the pot. And basically there's 3 sections to the pot. There's the main part, the base, and then the ribbon. So we're going to start with the main part. But we're going to use the medium-sized paper strips, light blue and dark blue. We have 3 dark blues and 20 of the light blues. So to start off, you're going to grab one of your light blue paper strips. You're going to take it by the end. The quilling tool has this slot in it. Stick the paper into that slot as close to the end as possible without too much going through, and turn it either towards you or away from you. It doesn't matter which direction as long as you do it the same way. And you're just going to spin it. And you're going to spin it and spin it and spin it. Before you get to the end of the roll, hold this tight, don't let it unwind. Take the next strip and the end, insert it into the inside of the coil and continue to spin and wrap the paper, and that end will come around, and as it comes around, take another paper, insert it in there. I'm going to continue doing this till I get to the end of my light blue. I'm going to switch colors from the light blue to the dark blue, and all I need to do for that is do just what I've been doing when I add a light blue strip. So I do that, but I just add the dark blue strip in there, and I stick that in there, and I continue to turn. I like to hold my fingers on both sides of this. That helps keep it nice and even. I'm going to go with 4 strips. All right. Once you get to the last little bit, you're going to glue that down. I am just using this tacky glue. So it should look something like this. I set it on my table to kind of flatten it, make sure it's flat. So now we have to turn this into a pot. How on earth are we going to do that? Okay, pick a side, which is going to be your outside. I don't think it matters, but you might want to pick the prettier to be the outside. And you shape it into a pot. So just kind of press on the inside with your thumbs and kind of slowly pull some of the papers apart. Try to keep the bottom part of it kind of flat. You want to be able to have a nice shaped pot. If you don't leave enough space at the bottom to be flat, then it's going to be a taller pot. If you want it a shorter, wider pot, then leave less space. So work with that until you get it how you like it to be. And when you're pulling these, make sure you don't pull the papers further than you don't want to pull them apart too much, because then it will come apart. Now for the next part, you're going to want to kind of seal it. So you're going to put the glue in here and spread it around. I'm going to use a glove. You don't have to use a glove for this part. You could use like a little brush, or maybe a Q-tip would work pretty well. But for me, I think the glove is going to be my best bet. So just kind of swirl the glue around in there and then spread it around. Obviously don't press too hard, because then you'll change the shape of your pot. Next we are going to work on the base of the pot. So for that, we have 3 strips of the medium-sized dark blue paper, and I'm using 14 strips of the medium-sized light blue paper. So we're going to do this exactly like we did with the base of the pot. Gonna put the paper into the quill pen and turn it. You continue to do that until we have used up all of the light blue strips of paper. Now, just like before, when you get to a point where it's difficult to use the pen, go ahead and take that out carefully and kind of straighten everything out and continue to roll until you get to the end of that last light blue paper. Take your dark blue, roll it up in there. All right, after you get to the end, we are gonna glue that. I'm gonna press that flat against the table. Decide what side you want for the bottom and which side you want for the top. The side that you want facing up, go ahead and cover it with glue. Spread the glue out. Put another bit of glue there. Stick this on top and push it down. I'm going to kind of turn it a little bit so I guess glue on all of it. And there's the pot. The next part will be to make the bow. All right, so to make the bow, you can choose between, well, you can make it any color you want, but I suggest choosing between the medium size of the light and the dark blue. It looks like in the picture here they use the darker blue. I'm going to go ahead and go with the lighter blue. So to fold this ribbon, what you want to do is kind of fold it in half so that you're working with an even space. Twist one of the sides around, and your ribbon will look like that. It's hard to show you with my finger in the way, but it'll look like that. Take your glue in between those so that it sticks. Take this part and twist it around and down. That's how you'll make your bow. So before I twist that around and down, I'm going to go ahead and place a little bit of glue here and twist. Make sure that your bow's sides are fairly even. You can either leave these straight or you can cut them at a diagonal. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a little V. You can do that on both sides. Okay, now that that is dried, now the kit came with these pearl stickers, and I'm going to put one right in the middle there. And then we're going to glue this onto the pot. And our pot's finished. It's time to work on the flowers. So we'll start with the petals, and for this we will need all the tools: scissors, tweezers, quill pen, ruler, glue. Each flower has 5 petals, and for each of those petals you will need 2 of the thin yellow strips and part of a small blue strip. So first we need to take the yellow and wind it up. Take this and we're going to put it in the number 13. So on the ruler, oops, this is upside down. On the ruler, it has these different circles and it says numbers on it. And I'm picking the one that says 13. 15, 14, 13. Stick it in there. Make sure it's flat against the table or whatever your work surface is, and let it unwind. You got to be careful because it might kind of try to pop out of there. So, use your finger to keep it pressed down. Now, here is where the end of the strip is. I'm going to grab it with the tweezers on the opposite end. And I'm going to stick the tweezers down the middle hole and on the outside. And then I'm going to pinch it so that this end is at the very bottom of where I'm pinching, or close to it. Take your glue and glue this down. For the first petal, we need to make 2 of those. The next step you're going to do is you're going to glue these together once you have 2 and kind of press them. It'll be making kind of like a heart shape. All right, now we are going to wrap that in the blue. So take the end of your blue, put the glue on it for quite a bit because you're gonna want glue on most of the part that you're wrapping. Start at the tip, the bottom of the heart, this is hard enough to do on its own, let alone on camera. Making sure I'm in the camera. So I apologize if I go off screen, but I am doing the best that I can. So the tip, make sure that's kind of pressed in. You're going to wrap it around twice. So there is the first petal. Now for the first flower, we need to make 5 more of those. I finished making the 60 half petals. So now I need to put them all together. I have 6 that I've put together so far. So for these 60 half petals, you are going to need 60 strips of paper. Now I'm going to go put these half petals together and wrap them up in blue quilling paper. I have all 30 of my petals. Now it's time to start putting them together. So we will need a base. I'm going to take a strip of the large green paper. I'm going to cut that and make this into a circle. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up putting glue on here and then setting the petals, arranging the petals over the top. I want to kind of make sure I know which petals I'm putting where before I begin that. Just put the glue on there, spread it around, and then put the petals on. And do this for all of your petals. Another way to do this, if it's easier for you, I kind of experimented a little bit, and I think it's a little bit easier way for me, is to go ahead and instead of putting the petals on top of the green base, put the green base on top of the petals. So arrange the flower how you're going to want to have it, and then put the glue on the green, and then place that on top of your petals. And they're going to kind of move around a little bit, so just, make sure it gets there how you want it. Hold it down a few seconds. Let's do the center of the flowers now. So flip your flower over. The picture shows one light yellow, more of a cream color strip, and a light blue. I don't have enough of these to do these colors on every flower, so I'm going to switch it up a little bit, but for this one I'm going to do it this way. We're going to get our quilling pin, take the color that you're using for the inside, and turn it up. When it gets towards the end, you're going to add the color that you want for the outside. You do that just like we did with the others. Just stick that in there and roll it up. When you get to the end, you're going to want to glue it. After you have that glued down securely, kind of flatten it out a little bit. That looks cool. Okay, decide which side you want for the outside and which side you want for the inside. And the side that you want for the inside, you're going to push in just a little bit, like you did with the pot, but just a little bit. Make a little bit of a bump. Now, we are going to glue the inside of that, like we did with the pot. I mean, basically, it's a miniature one of those. Whoops, that was a lot of glue. Okay, try not to use that much glue. And then you're going to want to kind of take the glue and just rub it around on the rim. And then stick it on the flower. Do that for all the rest of them. It is time to start making the stem, and for that you're going to take your floral wire. What I did was I cut it in half, and then I cut each half in half and then half again. So your stems don't need to be even, because it'll kind of be nice if the flowers are scattered throughout the little pot unevenly. So you just need to decide how tall you want them. Cut up your pieces of floral wire. Then you are going to get out a strip of the medium size light green, and guess what you're going to do? You're going to make the part that goes at the base of the flower and into the stem. Glue it, press on it to make it pop out. If you want to use your quilling pin or the other side of it, go ahead and do that. If you push too hard, you can always start over. Just press it together. So I actually find that that works pretty good. So you want to make one of those for each of the flowers. Take the wire and bend the end around. If you bend it, it's going to stay in place a little bit more. So what you're going to want, the next step is to glue the inside of this part and this is going to go inside. And so you're just going to kind of poke it in there till it comes through. And see, this is where having that is going to be handy, because it's going to keep it from just sliding through. So now take another piece of the light green and you're going to wrap it around the stem. So when you get to the end, just cut off the extra paper and glue it. Take a flower and glue it on. So do that on all the flowers. After you have all the stems on your flowers, it is time to make the leaves. So take a strip of dark green, the wider one, and we are going to cut it in the length that we want for the leaves. We're going to have about 4 leaves for each flower. And what you're going to want to do is for each of those, fold them in half lengthwise and flatten the, crease it really tight, because that's going to make the line down the middle of the leaf. Take your scissors and round it out. Round out the ends. Open it up and there's your leaf. Kind of use your nail to curl it a little bit. And then you're going to take a flower and you're going to glue it to the stem. And there are different ways you could do it. You can fold it over like that. You can just fold it like that. So however you want it to look. The extra little bits that you cut off, go ahead and save those, because we're going to sprinkle those on the top after we stick all the flowers in there, so it'll be kind of like green grass. You'll need 24 leaves. Put them on the flowers, the stems of the flowers. I'm going to make a few other types of flowers for my bouquet. I am going to attempt to make a marigold type of flower. Cut your lines all the way down the strip. Now we are going to put this into our quill pen, put the uncut side into the inside, and you can do this either way. You can roll it either direction, just as long as it gets rolled and the flat side goes in. I wanted to mention an idea I had while I was here cutting all these strips of paper, because it does take quite a while. The idea is simply this: fold your paper either in half or fourths or whatever is most comfortable for you, and also in regards to what your scissors can handle, and cut in layers. When you cut in the layers, it'll be a lot faster and a lot less cutting. If you like to take your time and do it cut by cut on a single layer, that's totally fine. There is nothing wrong with that at all. And if you want to go a little bit faster, I think that's the way to do it. Another thing is you can make different looking flowers if you vary the distance between your cuts. So I'm going to try a few where my cuts are not quite so close together. After you have the rest of the flowers rolled up and the stems rolled up, spread some glue around on the bottom of each of these just to give them a little bit more stability. Work on spreading those little flowers out how you like. Cut in spots that you want. I cut my strips for the leaves, and what you'll do is you're not going to fold it or anything. You're just going to leave it like this, and you're going to cut the ends into kind of like a picket fence type shape. So just kind of cut a point. You can also do just a half strip. I'm going to take my nail and I'm just going to kind of like a curling ribbon, put a little bit of pressure on there so that it curls over. So then what I'm going to do is on each of these, I'm going to glue two like that. We have the leaves on all of the flowers. We have all of the flowers. Have those extra little green bits that I saved from the leaves that we're gonna sprinkle on top of here when we're done. So we need to arrange our flowers and we need to put them into the pot. Keep in mind when you are arranging your flowers that they're on wire, so you can kind of bend the bottoms or the sides so that they'll reach out how you want. I'm going to secure these together with another piece of wire. Now we got to get that to stick in there. So I think we're going to be using a lot of glue. And squeeze a bunch in there at the bottom. I put half of a tissue in, clear out a little divot at the bottom of it, a little space for the rest of your flowers, for your flowers, and then put the flowers in, and then put the other half. And if it's nice and tight, the flowers are gonna stay, and that looks really cute. So then sprinkle the little bits of leaf excess that we had. Sprinkle that on the top in there. There you have it. If you guys have any suggestions or comments or things to say about this paper quilling, let me know. If you found this video helpful for figuring out how to do this project, consider liking this video, consider subscribing to my channel if you'd like to see more. But there it is, guys. What do you think? I like it. I like it a lot. I hope you found this helpful. Thank you for watching, guys. Bye.